Hi, everyone, or no one, as the case may be. My name's Peter Draculea, and I guess if you're watching this, you're either me or one of my subscribers who happen to have this just go live. So we're going to get right into it. Wow, it's a lot darker in the camera than I thought it was. Anyways, what we are going to do. First of all, I'm going to try not to cough because I'm wearing a lav mic and hopefully that picks up in the sound. But we're going to do some drawings. So my main characters are from my Noah's Archipelago comic. And I explain it, why don't I just start drawing? So Noah, the dad, sings in cover bands and whatnot. So we'll just have him. Ooh, this marker's kind of crapping out already. The peril of just throwing things back in the bag rather than separating out the ones that are kind of crappy. That's better. Anyways, he sings in bands. Had an idea about what I was going to draw for this, which, we may get there. We probably won't stay live too long, but Noah and his crazy curly hair. Um, the main thing is Noah's daughter, Ursula. So there we go, there's Noah. And his daughter is Ursula. She also has crazy hair, worn up in two pigtails usually. And the angrier she gets, the more extreme her hair is. And this is the week she had to go back to school from Christmas vacation. So, yeah, she's very angry. And anyways, the real point of what I'm going to be drawing today. By the way, this is my first ever live stream. So, I mean, I'm going to throw it up live after the fact. Probably change the title and whatnot. But if we have technical difficulties and whatnot, and I expect we will, it is what it is. So, Ursula, apart from hating school, she loves cartoons. And I have this other cartoon series that I'm working on, which is Ricky B. the Rock and Roll Rat. And Ricky, well, he's a rat dude, obviously. And he's way out of scale with these other guys. He's about the same height as Noah, but that's fine. Anyways, Ricky is kind of, well, I mean, he is a rat, so he would be somewhat of an expert on all things rat, right? And for the Noah's Archipelago um, cartoon series, I've got something coming up where normally I don't have Ricky in the Noah stuff and I don't have Noah in the Ricky stuff, but in my sketchbooks, I've started having some interactions because they all live in my head. They're all in my cartoon universe, right? So, anyways, I've got a little plot line coming up for Noah wherein Ursula was going to take it upon herself to figure out what her community and humanity in general needs. Some of her classmates are going to talk about, letting kids vote or cleaning up the environment or whatnot, but yeah, Ursula has better ideas. We'll say that. Of course, I've kind of given away part of the plot line, but hey, I don't think I'm going to have all that many viewers on this first live stream, so, it'll be our little secret when it comes out in Noah's Archipelago. But Ursula has heard rumors of, some of y'all, when you think about rats and pizza and kids, you might think about Chuck E. Cheese. Now, where I grew up, we never had one. Certainly not when I was a kid. But somehow this last week, I've ended up on a Chuck E. Cheese research kick. And So I have where Ursula will be learning about this. And well, who's she going to ask? Well, she's going to ask her rat buddy because, of course, Ricky would know, right? So let's move on to the point of the actual live stream, which is let's draw some weird, creepy animatronic rat robots, eh? And we'll see how it goes from there. So this, of course, the fact that I have never been to a Chuck E. Cheese probably means that it will be particularly messed up. But we used to see commercials. I grew up in the suburbs of Vancouver, specifically Richmond. So, you know, it's a short drive. Well, I mean, it's not a short drive, but it's a doable drive to Bellingham in Washington State. And Bellingham definitely did have a Chuck E. Cheese. So we used to see the commercials and be really bummed out that we didn't have that here. I can already tell by the schnoz on this robo rat that Ricky's going to take deep offense at this, but that's okay. Ricky can cover his eyes. Also, this is already starting to look more like Alf. Anyone remember Alf from the 80s? Well, we will give, of course, you know, copyright and whatnot. We're not actually in Noah's Archipelago. We're not actually going to call it Chuck E. Cheese because that would be, you know, I mean, I guess they can't really sue you for parody if you're using the same name, but it's just best to not have the same name. So we're calling him Cheez E Rat. Yeah, that's not a very good Cheez E Rat face, but we'll try drawing him from the side next. I have never drawn this character. I just popped into my head as we went. So, now he's looking a little werewolfy, but you know, the stereotype about rats is they live in garbage. So he's not going to have a nice leather jacket like Ricky has. He's going to be wearing a ripped up shirt. What band is he going to listen to? Well, I think we all know, those of us who had any lifespan in the actual 1980s know what band Cheez E Rat is going to be listening to, right? Pretend that they do really extra, extra, extra big cheese slices. Although, actually, because, you know, if he's a rat, then size-wise, this could be a normal pizza slice. Well, actually, no. If it was a normal pizza slice, the pizza slice would be this big, and the rat would... Anyways. Details, details. So, he's a little rugged looking, too. Will he actually look this way when the actual Noah's Archipelago comic comes out? Probably not. He's holding up his hand, number 4. Well, number 1. I can't count. Yeah, I'm bad at math. So's Ursula. Yeah, anyways. Not to scale, obviously, but, you know, they're going to be dressing up some teenage loser with their first job. I say teenage loser as if I had a job when I was a teenager. I did not. But, yeah. So there's a start for Cheez E Rat, but I think we can do better. And also, he's going to be animatronics. So, you see in the animatronics where the eyelids blink, got the unstaring eyes underneath, and then they've got like some sort of, I guess from the back, if you did this in cross section, it's like that, and it has a little screw and whatnot, so it can go back and forth. Some little gizmo that drives it on a wheel so that the thing blinks. But let's try a little side profile. You know, actually, what this kind of reminds me of now that I look at it, for anyone who's from the Vancouver area, the old Sea Fox logo, their mascot. The ears obviously were pointier, but so Cheez E rat with his plastic animatronic dead eyes and the fake fur. And if you've ever seen me draw a side profile of Ursula, you'd know why Ursula really wants to visit this Cheez E rat sort of place. And then also the jaw would be hinged. Actually saw a pretty funny video courtesy of the guys on Daywave. They were playing it, but it was some, I don't think it actually was a Chuck E. Cheese, but it was like a knockoff and it went independent. So the new owners had the animatronic band. And what they did was they made them into dogs, and then they have them singing like parodies of the Misfits. So you know, the video that I saw was the animatronics are singing "Mother, Don't Let Your Puppies Walk My Way." So, anyways, gotta account for the fact that there is going to be a teenager living in here and a huge rat tail. You're just gonna keep flipping pages. I want to draw it more biomechanical looking, but my cartooning style is not at all biomechanical, so I would have no idea what this thing would actually look like. But let's give it a shot. So we got the plastic eyeball cover. Eyelid, that's the word I'm looking for, eyelid. Over the plastic eye. That is painted like that. And then it's got this. I think the original Chuck E. Cheese logo actually did have like a long extended snout. I can't help but think that this does look more like a dog, but I guess what would help would be the big incisor teeth, right? And, well, let's try some logo type stuff. So his name is the very correctly spelled Cheez E rat. So what would they probably do? I think the original Chuck E. Cheese logo was a circle, so we want to kind of avoid that. But you know, I think what we're gonna want, I'm gonna start doing this with the Ye Old Faithful non-photo blue pencil. So let's have a wedge of cheese, also a wedge of pizza kind of idea, right? Especially if you do it like that. Well, I mean, that's kind of more, reads more as cheese versus pizza, but and then we need the rat head. Buck teeth. And maybe he's got a piece of pizza in his mouth. Why not? Make it fractal. And we are definitely still at the brainstorming, not at the polished whatever stage. Cheez E rats. There, now somebody can think that the rats are in charge of the Illuminati because of the triangle thing. So, I want kind of like a non-serif or sans serif, tends to be a little friendlier and a little more cartoony looking. So I think it's Bright Sun Films had, I don't know if it's new or I think it's actually an older video of theirs. I had a video on Chuck E. Cheese going into chapter 11, I think. The thing where it's bankrupt, but it's still an operation. But they talked about the private equity coming in and kind of like modernizing it, which is to say removing all the charm. Sorry. I will have to. Right now I am streaming from my phone. My plan later in the year is to get a better layout with like an actual webcam and use actual mics and stuff where I can hit. If I do that, cheesy rat looks a little bit stoned. Anyways, where I can do the kind of mute thing when I'm about to clear my throat and cough. But we ain't got that technology here today. And yes, from a perspective, this is all wrong. You know, you would see the shadows from one angle, but the bubbles, whatever. But we are not worried about reality here. This is the cartoon universe. They have different laws of physics. So, there we go. For the bottom, I don't mind it being just a straight sans serif, no outline. Is there 1 R or 2 R's in Pizzaria? Who cares? And of course, we can add a little bit of color. Mildly curious as to whether, so far my YouTube homepage doesn't know I'm live, which is fine. So there is a science behind the color of corporate logos and whatnot. Orange, I guess, is supposed to be friendly and approachable kind of thing. Obviously, it ties in with cheese as well. Probably not the best yellow color for that, but of course in the 80s when, I mean, I think Chuck E. Cheese might have started in the 70s. The idea was from the 70s, but I don't think the implication, uh, that's not the word I'm looking for. Implementation, I don't think really started until the 80s. I just watched a video on this. I should know it, right? You'd think so. Ursula ends up being very disappointed when she finds out that Ricky has never heard of this pizza joint. They have other pizza joints in Ratland, though. But their version of cheesy rats or Chuck E. Cheese's was Gorilla Gary's, where it was a teenager dressed up as a gorilla. You had to find the hidden plastic bananas, and then you could turn those in exchange for arcade tokens. And at some point, one of Ricky's cousins got a job. Oh, that's more purple than pink. That's not a good ear color. Anyways, one of Ricky's cousins got a job there as a teenager and started smuggling Ricky and Ricky's other littler cousins whole boxes of the plastic bananas. So therefore they were able to cheat, basically. It's kind of red, kind of brown color. My other marker box has more variety. Now, what color fur? I guess gray would be, well, my house, even though I draw a lot of cartoon rats, if the real ones try and get in, we set traps. So, the last rat that met its rat maker in my basement, and one of the traps was a gray one, so I guess we'll use gray. This tripod down, but there we go. So at least we got that much sorted out for future comic use. But I still, what are we doing? I mean, obviously, it's not so much the time, it's that, yeah, technical potential difficulties. I don't know. I'm talking. Maybe my mic isn't picking up, or maybe my phone isn't picking up the lav mic, and nobody's hearing nothing. So I do want to keep this first live stream pretty short. That's also why I didn't announce it in advance. But let's kind of, like I said, now that I've got that, I mean, this, if you came out sideways, it would kind of look like a bit like that. The question is, how do you make it not look like a floppy dog's ear? I mean, logically, if you had the big round rat ears, you wouldn't also have floppy dog ears, but you know, it's the cartoon universe. Weird things happen. course, the costume is going to be worn by teenagers, so we're going to see something along the lines of this. He's going to have his rat head under here, or under his arm, right? Probably the ones that are the teenagers, the eyelids don't move, right? But they might have, you know, animatronics on the stage that do. I forgot to draw on his rat t-shirt. Oh well. Now, how are they going to keep that tail up, right? Because, well, obviously the reality is a rat just drags its tail behind it. But here you kind of want them to have some personality. So probably what they're going to do is they're going to have a tiny little couple little hidden things. And the first kid that sees those is going to yank it and the tail's going to wiggle. But there'd probably be some sort of a support armature that ties into like a plate at the back or something. And then that makes it awkward to sit. Although, you know, I guess you can sit, but you can't sit in anything that has a back, right? So the kid's going to have to be plunking his butt down onto like bar stools or something. Anyways, like I said, because this is my first one, I don't want this live stream to be too long. So I'm going to also watch this back and see if I how bad, well, not if I screwed up, how badly I screwed up. So let's kind of just go over what we did. Well, first of all, I explained a little bit about the world that we're working in, and I'll put a comment with some. Actually, I don't know if I can put links in my comics. Yeah, links in my comments. I will link to my comics in the description. I'll just edit it. So we got Noah from Noah's Archipelago, Ursula is Noah's daughter, Ricky from Ricky B. the Rock and Roll Rat, and there is a YouTube channel that has, whoops, okay, that's not going to work, never mind. Oh, hello. Hi, I'm actually, now I can see some comments. Hello, folks. Sorry, it's like looking down at here and not realizing that anything come in. So can I read sideways? Don't know. If I get up and stand up, then I can move my head. See Recruit 74. Hope your life goes well. Thank you. Love your drawing. Oh, thank you. John the Baptist. Hi. Are you like, are you alive? Do you talk to the viewers? Uh-oh, is there no sound? Ricky B Rock and roll rat. What the fuck is going on? Well, okay. Gibran Gonzalez heard me mention the name, so at least I know there's some sound. And sorry, one comment. Oh, what's going on? I am kind of being a bit of a tech Luddite boomer sort of thing. I'm Gen X, but that's kind of the same thing. So, anyways, hello, folks. Next time I'm going to try and have be watching the live stream on my laptop so I can actually look up and see chat. But yeah, I will slap a link in the description. So, Ricky, I have some podcasts and whatnot. I do some comics with Ricky and his buddy Miles and whatnot. And then these guys are from my other project, Noah's Archipelago. As always. Anyways, okay, cool. Thanks. And I think the community tab page I do post my Noah drawings. So we will get it sorted out as the weeks go by. I'm gonna try and do like one live stream a week or so. So the rat character here though, not Ricky. Ricky doesn't know who this is. Because he is asked by Ursula about this. So kind of a weird, well, my head is weird, so different characters that live in my head. New subscriber for sure. Awesome, thank you. And yeah, I got a little lazy over the Christmas season, but I was posting like some reels of inking cartoons and stuff. So, or I guess here we call them shorts, right? So there is some stuff there, and you can see some of my other cartoons and whatnot. Ricky and the Pizza I definitely need to have a crossover. Well, that is the plan. Of course, it's like I can think of a short version to do, which the short version will be what goes in the next month or so in the Noah's Archipelago, where Ursula asks him about it, and then Ricky hasn't heard about it, and then that's her research for like a school assignment or something. But I did also have an idea of like a bigger, that would probably be almost like a graphic novel type of thing. So, oh, that might take a while. Who knows? But I could definitely see a crossover, of course, because Ricky himself loves all things cheese and pizza. So he is going to want to come and experience the cheesy rats for himself, and then probably get thrown out by the management who, I hear stories about like the Disney parks don't want visitors dressing up as the characters because it's confusing for little kids and whatnot. So you could see possibly something similar going on, but that will be something we're working on. So thank you all for watching. Here I was going like, I'm going to be talking to myself and debating, should I send the link to my brother? And then I couldn't find where to send the link. But anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed what we mucked around with so far today. And yeah, we will do a little bit more development in some future live streams. So thanks for watching and take care. And let's see if I can end the live without deleting anything, which would be the next thing. But hey, if I delete it, well, then we'll just figure it out again on the next stream. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great week, and bye for now. Do I stop? There we go. Sure do I want to stop streaming? Yes, I am. And next time I'll try and not be talking on mic so much as I'm trying to figure things out. Well, I guess it's real, hey? Reality TV. I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyways, see you next time. Bye.